Joining us now, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. Sean, good to have you with us. Thanks for the time, man.
You bet, John Frederick. It's awesome to be with you and to be with people of the Commonwealth.
Well, I tell you what, Sean and I go back a very long time. Sean was the communications guru at the Republican National Committee for some time, and he used to let me come and do my show in his office, and I appreciate that, Sean, and all you've done for us, and it's great to have you up there. And I just got to say this. Thank you for giving me White House credentials. I was there 3 days last week. I thought you were doing a great job, and if you weren't, I would be honest with you, but you got to be...
Keep saying that. We're going to have you back more and more.
You got to, you know what? You got to be there. And I had the opportunity. I was there, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I believe. And I mean, I thought you were great. I mean, you answered all the questions. You were gracious. You have a sense of humor. The other thing I have to say is, and I know they're my colleagues, but boy, you get some dumb questions. I don't know how you... I mean, some of them are really dumb. And then some of them, like, they have it written down. They go and they have a question written down. This is the other thing I noticed, because I'll be standing there. They'll have it written down. Somebody will ask an almost similar thing. You'll spend 5 minutes answering it, and then they have 3 follow-ups, so that's 8 minutes. And then you get around, you call on them, they'll read the same question that's already been asked. It's like, what? So I don't know.
I think a lot of that, John, just so you're clear, is that they want to be able to tell their station or their outlet, like, I asked the following. So even if it's been asked 8 times,
I know
they want to get, I think it's a bit of a show. Hey, I want to be able to say that I asked this question as well.
It is. It's a waste of time, really, for everybody else in there because, like, they're not listening to the other answers and then just asking a question that's going to extract more information. The other thing I just got to tell my audience is that nobody has one question. Everybody has 3 questions. I don't know how it evolved to that, but everybody's got 3 questions. So anyway, I think you're doing an excellent job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I thought President Trump's speech last night was just a home run in every regard. I know you talked to the president after he got done, and he's always his own biggest critic. What was his reaction to his own speech?
He was humbled by the reaction, especially initially by the members of Congress who were grabbing him as he left the chamber and saying, I've been here 10 years, 20 years, in some cases 30 years, and I've never heard a speech that well delivered and articulated a vision so well as you did. He was very humbling, and we obviously spoke with a group right afterwards, and then again back when we returned to the White House, and he was truly just struck by how his message and his vision resonated with so many Americans, so many members of the media, and so many members of elected officials who have been supportive, critical, and just said, this Trump agenda, this vision that he's laying out is something that I can really support.
Well, don't you agree with me that he talked directly last night to Middle America and really connected in Trump speak to average, everyday working people? And then you have the backdrop of a lot of the Democrats sitting on their hands. I think he was very effective last night. And then you see the opposition and you ask yourself, what are they doing to help me keep my job, increase my wages, right?
Well, yeah, and look, the one caveat that I'd have is it wasn't just Middle America that he spoke to. I think he spoke to every American, and I think that he's talked about people who've been forgotten in the past. And I think, literally, no matter who you were in America, you saw that these flash polls that came out, 78% found it very positive and optimistic and something that they could believe in. And I agree. I think he talks to people because he's not from Washington. He's not a politician. That he can articulate. And the other thing is that I know, like, he's been unbelievably successful, but the way that he's been successful, meaning that he's been in real estate, so he's around people who work with their hands, or in manufacturing, or in construction. He hears about the struggles of Americans that are out there looking for work, trying to pay for college, go to college, dealing with regulations in a small business. All of these things he's intricately aware of, so he can speak truth to power in a way that so many others can't or haven't been able to in the past. And I think that when you talk about the vision that he laid out, it resonated in a way that I don't think has many people have been able to put their finger on in the past, and that's what made it so largely successful.
I think you hit the nail on the head. That was exactly it. Let's get to the media and some of the comments being made. As you know, I'm on CNN every week. The big discussion last week was them not being invited to your press gaggle. I thought I defended it, saying, you invited the press pool, NBC, CBS, NBC, right. My former company, McClatchy. Is there any effort underway in order to limit access to media companies that you think are spreading fake news or not being altogether honest?
No, not at all. There's a difference. I think we will push back aggressively when a story is false or misleading or inaccurate. That's our right and our obligation, frankly. But I think there's also, but again, as you pointed out, I have a meeting in my office. I bring the pool in, and for those of you listeners who don't understand, the media determines every day in order to share resources. They have a member of the broadcast media, the radio, print, online, and the wire services, and they make up what they call a pool. They determine who it is every day. So, for example, today it's the AP, Reuters, Bloomberg, CBS, Talk Media News represents the radio, and they determine that every day. And if we have an event that's in a room or whatever, we'll bring in the pool, what they call, and the pool represents each of those facets of media, the different mediums, print, online, et cetera, and then their obligation is to get it out to all of their colleagues at the same time. I had a meeting in my office to kind of go over the president's schedule for the day, and I invited the pool, and then I had done what they call an expanded pool, invited others, including ABC and NBC News and some other individuals, and all of that information was recorded, transcribed, and reported to everyone in real time to every outlet that's a member of the Correspondents Association. And I think the problem that I have sometimes is that there is this decision that they get to or some organizations believe that they are entitled to whatever they want, and that's they're the ones who have set up the rules. They're the ones who have determined how they want to operate, and so I get that sometimes they want certain things, but it's their own rules that we have tried to abide by. And so we have been we had two lunches this week, a dinner on Monday night where we brought in all of the major regional correspondents, who deliver TV news to different local outlets. And that was the first time that had ever been done. Yesterday, there's a traditional lunch that is done by the president where they invite, quote, the big five anchors, ABC, NBC, Fox, and CNN, to a lunch with the president prior to a joint address or a State of the Union. We expanded that to Univision, Telemundo, TV One, CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network, EWTN, the Catholic Network. I think yesterday was probably the most inclusive and expansive lunch the president's ever done. As you know, John, from being at the briefing room, we have the Skype questions where we allow local affiliates and talk radio hosts from around the country to get a virtual seat in the briefing room. That's the first time that this has ever been done. I do believe that we have a track record of providing more access and information and inclusiveness than any previous administration. And I think that sometimes you will hear the press complain because it's never enough. But that being said, when you actually are objective in terms of how we've provided access to folks, I think it's been pretty impressive.
So what are they complaining about?
Again, I think
ridiculous.
That there's, I'm not going to. I would just say I do believe that in some cases it's there's a continued. It's never going to be enough.
That's right.
But again, I think that anyone objectively can look and say that we have been unbelievably accessible, inclusive, and provided access probably to the president than has been the case. And again, that's just from anecdotally what other reporters are telling us.
Well, look, you've invited everybody to Skype in, so you do have a virtual seat. And if you go in the press briefing room, you got 56 seats there. They're assigned. You can accommodate another probably 25 standing room. That's 81 people on any given day, plus all the offices in the back. You add another 20. You got about 100 people there. So,
that's right.
I mean, 100 people a day, plus you're able to get in a virtual sense. I just don't know what their problem is. Sean, right. Look, you've got to take off. You're doing a fabulous job. Are you guys coming to Virginia tomorrow? Newport News?
I believe we will be in the Commonwealth.
You'll be in the Commonwealth tomorrow, I believe.
I'm going to make an announcement later today, but I would say that's probably a fairly accurate way of describing what our travel looks like.
Okay.
I look forward to getting down there. We've got a phenomenal opportunity to talk about rebuilding our Navy, and obviously there's so many veterans in the Tidewater region, but I look forward to getting back down to Norfolk. I was stationed there a couple times, so it's for me to be down there is going to be phenomenal. And I know the president really wants to talk about how his plan to rebuild not just our military but our Navy specifically is going to be something that we highlight.
Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow. Sean Spicer, we're out of time. White House Press Secretary. We will see him tomorrow at Newport News shipbuilding. Sean, you're doing an excellent job. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.